Ladies and gentlemen, buckle up because the situation in Cleveland is reaching a critical boiling point. We are looking at an offseason that will fundamentally rewrite the DNA of the Browns. Sources are buzzing, phones are ringing off the hook, and Andrew Berry is not just tweaking the roster, he is preparing to detonate it. We're talking about massive money being thrown at offensive weapons, the potential exit of franchise pillars, and a trade rumor so explosive it could alter the balance of power in the entire NFL. Do not go anywhere, because everything you thought you knew about this team is about to change right now.
Let's get straight to the numbers because they do not lie, and the financial implications here are staggering. Sources indicate that the Cleveland Browns are positioning themselves as the primary suitors for a veteran, dynamic wide receiver with a contract valuation estimated at $36 million. This is not a drill. This is Andrew Berry looking at his roster, looking at the salary cap, and deciding that the time for conservative spending is absolutely over. When you talk about $36 million, you are talking about premium, top-tier capital. This indicates a player who changes the geometry of the field. We are seeing market projections that align Cleveland with a desperate need for explosive playmaking ability. The front office has identified that the current receiving core, while talented, lacks the sheer velocity required to separate from elite coverages in the modern NFL. This move is calculated, it is precise, it is a direct response to the offensive stagnation we witnessed last season. But let me switch gears for a second because I need you to understand the gravity of this situation. You do not spend $36 million on a wide receiver unless you are telling your fan base that you intend to win the Super Bowl right now. This is an aggressive, all-in maneuver that screams desperation and ambition in equal measure. Andrew Berry is putting his reputation on the line. He is saying that the missing piece is a pass catcher who can stretch the field. But I have to ask the question, is this the right move? Is throwing money at the problem the solution? We have seen teams win the offseason championship only to crumble in September. This is a massive gamble. You are allocating a significant percentage of your cap space to one position group. It puts immense pressure on the quarterback to deliver. If you give your signal caller a $36 million weapon, there are no more excuses. None. Zero. You have to produce. The intensity in that building is about to skyrocket. This is a clear signal that the Browns are tired of being mediocre offensively. They want fireworks. They want touchdowns. They want to light up the scoreboard immediately. But here's the reality check that nobody wants to discuss. When you commit that kind of financial resource to one side of the ball, you have to make sacrifices elsewhere. The salary cap is a strict ledger. It is a zero-sum game. If you are adding massive weight to the offense, you are inevitably stripping weight from somewhere else to balance the books. And that brings us to a terrifying possibility that is bubbling under the surface. You cannot bring in a star without clearing the deck, and the rumors swirling around the league suggest that to pay for this new toy, the Browns might be preparing to part ways with the single most dominant force on their roster in a move that would absolutely shatter the hearts of the dog pound and change this defense forever.
Listen, if you want the truth about what is happening behind closed doors in Cleveland, you need to be part of this community. Hit that subscribe button right now so you never miss a breaking update. We are just getting started. This is the story that could tear the city of Cleveland apart. We are hearing legitimate noise regarding a hypothetical trade scenario that involves sending Myles Garrett to the NFC. Let me repeat that so it sinks in. Myles Garrett, the defensive player of the year, the cornerstone of the franchise. Sources suggest that a package is being discussed that would bring back multiple first-round picks and starter-level players in return. This is gaining traction in league circles as a way for the Browns to completely reset their asset chest. From a management perspective, you look at the value. Garrett is at his peak. His trade value will never be higher than it is right this second. If the Browns believe their championship window is closing or needs a reboot, moving him now maximizes the return. It is a cold, calculated business decision. But let me tell you something right now. This is absolute blasphemy. You do not trade a generational talent like Myles Garrett. I do not care how many picks they offer you. You do not trade a man who requires a double team just to get off the bus. This is the heart and soul of your defense. If you trade Myles Garrett, you are waving the white flag on having a dominant defensive identity. It sends a message to the locker room that nobody is safe. It tells the fans that we are prioritizing the future over the present. How can you justify this? You are talking about removing the one player who strikes fear into every quarterback in the AFC North. It is ludicrous. It is insulting to the talent he brings to the field every single Sunday. But we have to look at the reality of the situation. Andrew Berry is known for being analytical. He looks at the numbers, not the sentiment. If the return package includes 3 first-round picks and a bridge player, he has to listen. He has to pick up the phone. That is his job. But the emotional toll this would take on the franchise is incalculable. You are ripping out the foundation of the house and hoping it still stands. And if you think losing the best defender in the league is the only problem facing this team, you are sadly mistaken. Because while the front office contemplates moving the anchor of the defense, the situation on the offensive side of the ball is deteriorating even faster. You cannot protect a quarterback if you do not have a line. And the latest reports confirm that the protection unit we once trusted is being systematically dismantled right before our very eyes.
If the previous news didn't worry you, this one should absolutely terrify you. The offensive line, the unit that has been the pride of Cleveland for years, is effectively gone. Analysis released today confirms that guard Wyatt Teller has already said his goodbyes and is not expected to return. That is a Pro Bowl caliber player walking out the door. But it does not stop there. We are also looking at the probable exits of Jack Conklin and Ethan Posich. This is not a renovation. This is a complete demolition of the trenches. We are talking about 3 starters, 3 veterans, 3 guys who know the system, know the calls, and know how to protect the quarterback. When you lose Wyatt Teller, you lose the physicality in the run game. When you lose Conklin and Posich, you lose stability. The Browns are entering a phase where they are stripping down the most critical unit on the field. You can sign all the $36 million receivers you want, but if you cannot block, you cannot win. It is that simple. How do you expect to operate an offense when your line is brand new? Continuity is everything in the NFL. The offensive line relies on nonverbal communication, chemistry, and trust. You are wiping that slate clean. This is a dangerous game. You are putting your quarterback in harm's way. You are asking Nick Chubb, coming off an injury, to run behind a makeshift wall. It makes no sense unless the financial situation is far worse than we realized. This is a salary cap purge of the highest order. Andrew Berry is looking at the contracts of Teller and Conklin and deciding they are expendable luxuries. But in the AFC North, against the pass rushes of Pittsburgh and Baltimore, a strong offensive line is not a luxury, it is a necessity for survival. The domino effect here is catastrophic. You trade Garrett, your defense weakens. You cut Teller and Conklin, your offense becomes vulnerable. We are watching the dismantling of the core that made the Browns competitive. This is a full-scale identity crisis. The toughness, the grit, the ground-and-pound philosophy is being traded away for cap space and draft picks. It is a new era in Cleveland, but right now it looks like a scary one. With the line crumbling and the stars on the trade block, we have to wonder if the plan is to win now or to tank for the future. The strategy is unclear, but the departures are painfully real. This team is unrecognizable compared to the one that took the field last year.
This is a defining moment for the Cleveland Browns. We are witnessing a complete philosophical shift. You bring in a $36 million receiver, you float the idea of trading Myles Garrett, and you gut the offensive line that defined your identity for years. Andrew Berry is gambling with the future of this franchise. Is this a masterclass in roster management or the beginning of a total collapse? I need to hear from you. Do you trade a legend to save the cap? Can this offense function without Teller and Conklin? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this debate is far from over. We are watching history unfold, for better or worse. Stay tuned.